Testing 1, 2. Okay, can you hear me? I made a lot of mistakes today, and when I start doing that, I am very contagious. So that's a thing. So if you can hear me now, the players started with Reflect, Fire, the Magic Key, 6 gems to place, 2 lives, which is kind of bad, but they have in exchange for that life that they are missing, they have down stuff and they have 8 heart containers. So this is a pretty balanced seed. And another thing to keep in mind is that the Reflect spell is on the first position, so they won't have to go to the town of Raru, and they also won't have to go to the town of Mido. So yeah, let's see how this goes. This is the second round of the Swiss tournament. And go is to find the glove. That is a hint. And RoseCitySaint got it. I'm not sure if DrJayPhd got it. He's near that spot, but I'm not sure he entered the graveyard tile that has the hint. And if he did, wow, that's unfortunate. So RoseCitySaint in the Medicine Cave. We already saw DrJayPhd in the Payback Cave. I believe he didn't pick anything of interest there, but I'm not sure. I was checking my microphone at that moment. So RoseCitySaint in Medicine Cave and DrJayPhd in Magic Container Cave. This Magic Container Cave looks tough and he's about to die. And a payback for RoseCitySaint, a 500 payback, thankfully. And there's another payback drop there, and he gets an attack level, courtesy of Medicine Cave. And now DrJayPhd is more careful. He kills the enemies one by one. He manipulates them so they don't gangbang him. And wow, this Magic Container Cave is full of enemies. It has a red Dyra, orange Dyra, a lot of moblins, and a gorilla, I don't know how to say that, and a Gilderm, and a 5-handle payback. And there are a lot of paybacks, a lot of 5-handle paybacks in this set, at least 4 extra ones, because the players started with 4 additional heart containers. So the places where those heart containers should be are replaced with 500 paybacks. So that will make getting levels a little bit easier. We see a boulder block cave in DrJayPhd's side. Oh, thank you, the Alan Heffley. I didn't know that exactly, but I kind of suspected it. But yeah, if you say so, I believe you. So yeah, I'm not sure. Did anybody see if DrJayPhd entered the King's Tomb to check the hint? Because that's a huge hint that told us that the glove is in the Eastern continent. Okay, but yeah, the players have. Okay, I believe reflect is in the first slot, so the trophy should be out there. I'm not sure though. And yeah, picking up keys, having the magic key is very important because it is very nice to finish with a letter instead of a number in the key counter. So yeah, that's very important. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint is gonna pick up his 500 payback in the crowded magic container cave. However, he made a pentakill in that one. And we see DrJayPhd in what appears to be Hammer Cave in Death Mountain. Wow. I guess it was near the one of the entrances. So we've seen Magic Container Cave, Medicine Cave, and Payback Cave. I believe none of them had any item, any progression item, and we see 2 boulder block caves. So exploration time is over. For us, for the players, it's not. I believe RCS hasn't seen the Payback Cave. And a magic container in Hammer Cave, and we just saw that the fire spell is linked to the jump spell. So yeah, the thing that the players are looking for at this moment is the raft. That's the item of interest at this point. Because they have to play 6 gems, and we have 3 palaces in the Western continent and 4 palaces in the Eastern continent. So you need the raft to sail. And the trophy for RoseCitySaint inside the grass tile. So he has access to the spell in the town of Rando. So the things that the players need to finish this seed are basically the reflect spell and the raft. The other things could be required, and there are a lot of things that are not required at all. The most required thing besides those 2 things is the glove, because a lot of the palaces have glove blocked rooms, especially Great Palace, which has a lot of glove blocked rooms. However, there have been cases of glove free seeds, especially in the Max Rando tournament. However, having to place 6 gems, the probabilities are way lower. So we'll see what happens, but we've got a hint about the glove. Oh, you're absolutely right. I didn't mean Thunder. Thunder could be or could not be required in this seed, because in this category, which is called the Max Rando category, our mini boss for Great Palace, and that's not a mini boss because it is pretty big, Mr. Thunderbird could be not required. So there's a possibility of finding Dark Link before finding Thunderbird and finishing the game in this category. So the Thunder spell is not required. However, yeah, you're absolutely right. They already have the Reflect spell. The Reflect spell is 100% required because that is the only way to beat boss Karok of Palace 4. And RoseCitySaint picking up his magic container in Dead Mountain. So yeah, today Dead Mountain was a thing. I mean, in this case, looks like it isn't required, but in the previous 2 races we had today, it was required. Dead Mountain was required, and in this one, it could be not required, but anyway, both players grabbed the item from Hammer Cape, so yeah, that makes it a thing. Now, the players have seen all the places in the overworld. That have items, and they haven't found the raft. So the only thing that's left for the players to do is palaces. So in one of the 3 palaces, the raft must be hiding, and there's a possibility that it is not the raft but the hammer, because we have 2 boulder block caves, and we have a spectacle rock in Death Mountain. DrJayPhd picking up the shield spell in the town of Saria. So yeah, and RoseCitySaint in a palace that looks like Palace 1. I don't know which palace is this one. Yeah, that's Palace 1. So RoseCitySaint has the magic key, so there's nothing to fear in this palace except getting lost, but that only happens to Victor Santa Fe, so no worries there. So he will check the item and place a gem in the way because he's inside, so that's more efficient. The thing the weird thing is that he didn't do towns. And DrJayPhd is entering the town of Raro. He has already the spell from this town, but he just came in to heal. So, yeah. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint grabbing a p-bag, another p-bag from Palace 1. And yeah, without beating any palaces, he's already 444, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, that's kind of good. Having 2 lives is pretty stupid, especially in Great Palace, because Great Palace can have very long dead ends, and survivability there is pretty low. So yeah, having only 2 lives can be troublesome. We'll see how the players deal with that when the time comes. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd is also in Palace 1. And yeah, just confirmed that RoseCitySaint hasn't found the town of Saria. Will he? Will he look for it? Maybe he's betting that Thunder will not be required, and he won't look for towns that are out of his way. So RoseCitySaint close to finding Horsehead, and yeah, that's Horsehead for you. So if you think Horsehead is an easy boss, you should play Winter Solstice, the new ROM hack of this game. That fight is tough, really tough. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd about to find out that the item in Palace 1 is a 500 payback, while RoseCitySaint places his first gem of the night. 5 more to go, and let's see what's his next move. There are 2 more palaces. This is the town of Saria, but the backside of it. This is the front of Rudo, and he has the trophy. So there's a spell for him. And he will ask Error. And Error knows nothing. So the spell in the town of Rudo is the fairy spell. Very useful. Could be required. We haven't seen the other palaces. Maybe we have, but I missed it. But at least I haven't seen the other palaces, so there's a possibility that they are hiding behind the graveyard tile that we call the fairy hole or fairy cave. The other side we call fairy cave. RoseCitySaint entering the town of Mido, but he already has the 2 things he needs from there. And the town of Saria he will cross using the fairy spell. We know that this is not the way because DrJayPhd already found the front of it. And hello, Turson665. I missed if RoseCitySaint got a hint there, but hopefully he didn't. Well, hopefully for me, because I missed it. Thank you, Samaimas, who is our tracker. A big shout out to Samaimas. I hope I'm pronouncing your username in the correct way. So RoseCitySaint picking up his chill spell, not so bad. He reacts with a poker face. And yeah, I have the privilege of seeing both of the runners' faces. So yeah, you don't see that every day. So as you cannot see them, I will tell you how they react to the things that happen to them, to the torture that is Zelda 2 Randomizer. So DrJayPhd about to pick up his fairy spell. Thank you. Thank you, Samaimas. I kind of guess that's the way, but it could be Samimas. That doesn't sound... I don't know. So yeah, RoseCitySaint in another palace, and that looks like Palace 5. It's a pretty long palace. It sucks, but we have attack 4. DrJayPhd has attack 5. We have the shield spell. We have 8 heart containers. And we have time. But yeah, DrJayPhd entering 3 or 6. And it is 6. So which one will be more trollier? Place your answer in chat. 5 or 6? Which one will take more? Yeah, Palace 6 is way more manageable. However, the players don't have the glove, so that could be a thing. There are 2, I believe, 2 glove-locked rooms in Palace 6. Maybe 3, yeah, 3. Canadian Hole, and what we call the BGT room, which is the one with lava and blocks on either side. And there's a drop destination that if you don't have the glove, you get soft locked. And there's a probability of the thing you're looking for being to the left of that room. So DrJayPhd finding the Canadian hole, he will take the hole because he doesn't have the glove. So he cannot break the blocks on the other side. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd entering a bifurcation. I thought that room was gonna loop into itself. It tends to do that, but it didn't this time. There are 2 different ways to go. If you go up and if you go down. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint is gonna be forced to the lower part of the palace. And as he's looking for the item, yeah, we'll see what happens. There are a lot of dead ends to the right and a lot of dead ends to the left of Palace 5. I believe there are 2 dead ends to the left and 2 dead ends to the right. Yeah, I believe that's the thing about Palace 5. I'm not sure. And RoseCitySaint finding the item in Palace 5. And it is the raft. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd falling into one of the dead ends, one of the right dead ends of Palace 6. Thankfully, he didn't land into the other one because he would be soft locked. But he could. Maybe if he keeps landing here, he will land in that one. So RoseCitySaint is looking for Guma. He has attack 4. However, that isn't too bad on Guma. It's a pretty long fight, but it is doable. And in case it is non-doable for some reason, RoseCitySaint is good at using cheese to bait Guma. Guma loves cheese. So I believe we've already seen this room in DrJayPhd's side, so he looped in some way. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint has a lot of possibilities here. I believe this is the room with the jar. Or is it the one with the flying enemy? I haven't been able to memorize that thing. And DrJayPhd again in that room. So here's the very required room. He have an ace. And yeah, getting lost in Palace 6 is pretty easy. You have to be very focused when you explore Palace 6 and when you explore Great Palace. And another place very trolly, that can be very trolly, not all the time, very low probability of it being trolly is Palace 4. But yeah, you can get lost there too. So big palaces on both sides. Only RoseCitySaint has found the item. DrJayPhd is about to use the fairy spell to cross the fairy required room, and RoseCitySaint finds Guma. So that wasn't that bad of a Palace 5, especially because he got what he wanted. And yeah, Guma is going down pretty quickly. Well, kind of. So I believe what DrJayPhd could be looking for. Okay, he hasn't gone up in this room with the high jumps. This room sucks. We all hate it. And DrJayPhd is taking revenge for all of us, as RoseCitySaint defeats Guma and is about to place his second gem of the night. So going up for DrJayPhd, he's going to the left, which could mean that he has already gone to the right in that room. RoseCitySaint up an ace, and I believe he's going to go straight to the Eastern Continent to look for his glove. So the only thing that could favor DrJayPhd here is finding something like the flute or the boots, and that any of those items turns out to be required. However, he didn't find anything. I guess this Palace 6 was completely glove locked. I didn't check. I missed most of it, but judging his decision, I'm gonna guess it was glove locked. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint picking up a 1-up in one of the desert tiles, not the one he was looking for, but one extra life doesn't hurt, especially when you have only 2 lives. Now RoseCitySaint in Palace 4, that's a pretty manageable palace, and he fights the boss, so why not? Let's do it, Karak. And thank you, Winecraft TV, for rating us with a party of 6. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. And tonight we have the Zelda 2 Randomizer Max Rando Tournament. This is a chaotic category and anything can happen in the best game of the world. And I don't mean Zelda 2. I mean the best game in the world is Zelda 2 Randomizer. So thanks to everyone that's making this possible. I want to give a shout out to our restreamer Shadow Magi and our boss Cubes Rule, who helped set things up, and of course Samaimas in the tracking. We see RoseCitySaint in a big swamp in the Eastern Continent, and there's a water tile, but he doesn't have access to it because he still doesn't have the boots. We see Valley of Death on top, and we see a forest tile. That could mean experience, that could mean a ferry, or that could mean the town of New Kasuto. However, he doesn't have a hammer in case that was New Kasuto, but it wasn't, it was a ferry. And there's Maze Island on the southeast of the Eastern Continent. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd crossing the bridge in Palace 5. I believe he's on the right path to the item and to the boss, but I'm not absolutely sure. Now RoseCitySaint close to entering the palace in Maze Island. It could be Palace 3, it could be Palace 2, it could be palace, great palace. And it is Palace 3. He doesn't have the glove. Or does he? I don't think he does. So this is a pretty bold move. And he gets instantly blocked. And he gets out. He doesn't want to do this at this moment. And he finds one of the items. And I missed it because I was reading chat. I guess it wasn't anything important. I guess it was a payback because he happened out of P3 and now he has 500 experience. So yeah, it was a payback in that item location in Maze Island. Okay, we're getting 1-up drops, which is kind of good news for both players because they only have 2 lives. So getting extra lives as a drop is pretty fortunate. It could save you in Great Palace. So I believe if DrJayPhd goes down and to the left, he will find the item, and that's the item he's looking for. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint getting close to a palace, and that should be either Great Palace or Palace 2. Oh no, he's already seen this one. It was Palace 4, I'm sorry. Oh, he's already seen both of those. So maybe he's already seen Great Palace. Because I haven't seen him do Palace 2. So I'm gonna guess Valley of Death has Palace 2. And DrJayPhd finding the item in Palace 5, which is the raft. While RoseCitySaint taking the yellow brick road to nowhere. Now he's going to the right side and there's something there. However, he has to go through this forced encounter with the Wilsons on top. Desert tile for RoseCitySaint and he gets the glow. And yeah, I've seen quite a lot of racers, and one of the things that makes RCS a very good player is that he's very good at escaping things. Like for example, Thunderbird Flames. He has a very good eye-to-hand coordination, so yeah, he tends to do a good job at those situations. So RoseCitySaint doing Palace 6. I'm gonna guess he's gonna do Palace 6, then Palace 2 or 3. No, maybe 3. So we know Palace 3 could be glove blocked or not, but he decided to leave it for later. I think it was a wise choice. there are two rooms that can block you in Palace 3, and Palace 3 being such a small palace, there's a lot of probabilities of that being required in the way. So RoseCitySaint entering the loop, the eternal loop that DrJayPhd was in. However, he has the means to get out of this loop, because in the Canadian hall he can use the jump spell and jump over it and then break the blocks that DrJayPhd wasn't able to because he didn't have the block. And he finds the mini boss of Palace 6, Ribbonek. This one doesn't have an item behind him, but it helps you progress. The thing that this one tells you is that there is no way to walk back to this room while the boss is alive, because that would crash the game. So yeah, the item was hiding behind him, but behind another one of these. And when you don't see the two statues on top, but you see only one, the narcissism, I don't know how to say it, image of the boss you're fighting. Narcissist, I believe, is the word I was looking for. And Palace 6 hiding a pee bag. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd facing Guma. He has attack 6, so this will be a pretty short fight. And Rose will fall in the hole. That rhymes. So DrJayPhd placing his second gem. Now he can sail to the eastern continent. So I guess he's gonna do Palace 4, and we'll find out if the palace on top of Palace 4 is the Great Palace. I believe it is. There's no way that's Palace 2. But, well, it could be Palace 2. RoseCitySaint maybe declined because he didn't have the glove at the moment. And RoseCitySaint taking a death. He's on his last life. He has to be careful. And yeah, he will use the jump spell and take the high road. So yeah, this is another of the things that blocked DrJayPhd. This is what we call the BGT room. And it is a pretty trolly room, but if you kill both of the dragons and don't walk back, everything should be fine. And there's Barbara. So yeah, this Palace 6 was absolutely glove locked. Both things were glove locked. That was very tough on DrJayPhd. Very unlucky. RoseCitySaint making a good job at defeating Barbara as quick as he can. And very close to a level, but he won't go for more experience because he's very efficient. Meanwhile, we see DrJayPhd heading to the raft tile, to the harbor, to the dock. And RoseCitySaint happening, he's gonna head to the dock too, because he's looking for Palace 2 and Palace 3. And then he can enter Great Palace. And this swamp that you have to take to go to the raft tile is pretty nasty. Thank you, DrJayPhd. And DrJayPhd finding Palace 4. He's gonna dive in. Let's see if he goes for the item. I don't think he will. When you find the boss very quickly, you don't want to check for an item or anything like that. What? Okay. He declined the boss fight. He will look for the item. Okay, I get what happened. I think I was right about DrJayPhd not finding the hint about the glove. So yeah, he's gonna look for the item here. Hopefully it doesn't take long, but it looks like it will take longer than what he was expecting. Maybe getting an extra level. And RoseCitySaint in Palace 2. And yeah, Palace 2 was on Valley of Death, so the palace below Palace 4, which is the palace that DrJayPhd is in at the moment, is Great Palace. So RoseCitySaint just has to find Helmet Head, which is pretty tough for RoseCitySaint, we know. Palace 2 is his arch enemy. There's a room in Palace 2 that's named after him. And this is the room. Yeah, seed validated RoseCitySaint. We have a meme where we say that if you don't find that room, the seed is not valid. So now the seed is valid for RoseCitySaint. You can proceed. And that's the RCS room. So if RCS finds the boss someday, he will then have to walk back from Valley of Death, go into Maze Island. We know Maze Island is in the southeast of the eastern continent. And then he needs to walk back all the way to the northwest of the eastern continent to get into Great Palace. So he has to walk quite a bit, but I guess he knows the way. He doesn't have to take any caves or anything like that to get to the locations he needs to go. Meanwhile, DrJayPhd taking his time finding the item in Palace 4. But, well, there's a thing that DrJayPhd can find and that could turn this game around, and that is the child. Because neither of our players has the Thunder spell, and we don't know if Thunderbird is required or not. So yeah, if DrJayPhd finds the child, it could save him some time. And he's in the item room, so moment of truth, everyone. Another thing that can stop both players is the upstep technique. And it is a magic container for DrJayPhd. RoseCitySaint finding the other dead end to the right in Palace 2, and he looks very irritated because Palace 2 hates him. DrJayPhd has already been here, so he needs to walk to the left. And maybe go to the left here. No, he will take the elevator up. He's in the entrance, isn't he? Oh, yeah, he found the item. I'm stupid. He's looking for Boss Karak. And yeah, he will get attack 8 out of this fight. Meanwhile, RoseCitySaint looking for Helmet Head, but Helmet Head is hiding pretty deep, and RoseCitySaint finding the item room in Palace 2. And it's the hammer. And if the child is required for thunder and thunder is required, there's a probability we have to go back to Dead Mountain. So if I were RoseCitySaint, I will try to go do my things as if thunder wasn't required. But if I find a town in the way and that town is Darunia, I would ask for hints. However, I believe there is no town in his way. He hasn't seen either Naburu, nor New Kasuto, nor Old Kasuto, nor Darunia. So, yeah, where are the towns? Are the towns boot blocked? Anything can happen in this one. There are still things that haven't been solved. And DrJayPhd entering the arena. So he will be getting one of the things that can block RoseCitySaint, and that's the Abstab technique. Very low probability of that happening. Especially when DrJayPhd isn't going for it. But he's gonna get some information from this lady. And in a maze lies the child. So the item that RoseCitySaint rejected, he declined to look for the other item in Maze Island. Could be the key to Thunder. And DrJayPhd is gambling everything on Thunder. And that's a wise move because he knows that the Palace 6 thing was putrid. And RoseCitySaint is pretty puzzled about not finding towns. He already had seen this forest tile he's at. That was a fairy. And I missed the spell that DrJayPhd got. Well, we'll see when he opens up his menu. And there's Maze Island for RoseCitySaint. He's gonna do Palace 3. I don't think he will be looking for the item. He doesn't like doing Maze Island without the boots. So we need DrJayPhd to open up his menu so we can see what was the spell in Damburu. And Palace 3 for RoseCitySaint. DrJayPhd getting a 1-up drop. Come on, open up your menu. RoseCitySaint in the lava room of Palace 3. And The boss is here, wow. So he's about to place his last gem. He will gain a ticket to enter the roller coaster that is Great Palace. But there are two things that can stop him from doing so. Very low probability though, but there's thunder and there's upstep technique. DrJayPhd going through what we call the Dick Check Desert. And yeah, that river devil doesn't like to be bothered. So yeah, he's hiding in a corner. RoseCitySaint leaving the child behind. And finding the town of New Kasuto, so this will give him at least one item, and he's getting inside the magic container lady's house, and that item is a magic container and a spell. He can get a free spell out of here. So we still don't have the life spell. Okay, we'll see what was the spell that DrJayPhd found and an extra one. And that extra one is spell and jump. So yeah, pretty tough luck for DrJayPhd. And I don't know if I just missed the spell from RoseCitySaint. It was either life or thunder. And DrJayPhd going into one of the pigbacks in the Eastern continent. And what did he find? Man, I'm missing everything here. I'm very I'm not paying attention at all. So RoseCitySaint got thunder, wow, in New Kasuto. And yeah, DrJayPhd finding candle, and he won't be needing it, so pretty unfortunate for him. So RoseCitySaint has the upstep technique. Why? I guess he went into the Runia earlier and got it, or I didn't check well enough when I tested the seed that they did have upstep. I don't know. So yeah, there's nothing that can stop RoseCitySaint at this moment. I like the color of this palace. Pretty relaxing, but at the same time, it is bold. I don't know. I like it. And we see what we call the Eon drop. So DrJayPhd going through caves in the eastern continent. I believe he hasn't found Maze Island, and it is pretty deep in a corner, so you can miss those. And he's gonna find some things in the northeast of the continent here. While RoseCitySaint landing on what we call the L7 drop, the top of the L7 drop. And that leads him into the bottom of the L7 drop. So this room loops into itself. And the glove for DrJayPhd in the desert tile. So he can now do palaces without worrying about being blocked. RoseCitySaint arriving at a fun room, he decides to decline and check things up there. And there's what we call a paperclip room. And we call it a paperclip room, I guess, because it has a little hole that you can fall into and be trolled. And that's a dead end. So the little hole that trolls us is after this column. And that's why RoseCitySaint jumped after he stepped on the column. Now, RoseCitySaint is going through the dreaded fun room. We call them fun room because they are fun. You can have lots of fun here. And this could be what we call the trails room. And that's a drop destination. Yeah, it is the trails room. And it is famous because last year in the Max Rando tournament, Trails won a lot of races because he went left at this one before taking a look to the right side. So yeah, there's Dark Link. So no Thunderbird required. And DrJayPhd heading to the dead end that has the River Devil in it. And that's a very long dead end. Wow. I didn't pay attention before. So GG to RoseCitySaint, who finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 58 minutes and 45 seconds. So yeah, GG's to him. Let's see if we can get him here to talk about the SID. So DrJayPhd decides to walk back all the way from this trolley path. And yeah, pretty high levels on DrJayPhd's side. He could be ending up with something very close to 888. Hey, GG, congratulations, Mr. RoseCitySaint.
Thank you very much, Victor. That was pretty straightforward seed, huh? Nothing too interesting about that one. Plenty of survivability, and the game kind of gave you everything you needed.
Yeah, there are two things that decided this race. The first thing was that DrJayPhd didn't enter to the graveyard tile where there was the hint about the glove. That was one thing. And the other thing is that he entered Palace 6 before entering Palace 5. and both of the things in Palace 6 were glove locked, and kind of finding out that both things were glove locked took quite a long time. So yeah, those were the two things, and there was a ray of hope at the end regarding the thunder spell, because you declined to go for the item in Maze Island, and that item turned out to be the child.
Really? Okay.
And that could have led to Thunder, but well, Thunder was not required, and Thunder ended up being in New Kasuto. So yeah.
Yeah, which ironically, because Palace 2 was one of the worst Palace 2s of all time, and you had to 100% full clear. I, of course, got the hammer and was given Thunder, even though you didn't need it. It's always nice to know that you won't have to leave GP, but yeah, that hint about glove was really handy. It's important in these tournament races to grab those hints, especially if you don't start with the glove, because that allowed me to do things like skip.
Oh, we lost RoseCitySaint for some reason, but yeah, as we saw, DrJayPhd had to go for the item in Palace 4, and that ended up being quite some time for him too. Okay, he's back?
No.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, you were talking about the glove saving you from getting items, and yeah, for example, DrJayPhd, when he found Palace 4, the first thing he did was look for the item. So yeah, and Palace was very trolly. The item was pretty deep. So and the boss was on the right, on the first room to the right was the boss.
Exactly, that's a real backbreaker. If you have am I still here?
Yes, you are.
I'm cutting. Okay, yeah. If you have a boss room that's the first room in, and you start looking for an item, that's a really, problematic thing to have happen. That's just asking for a time waste.
Yeah, totally. So
very unfortunate when that happens.
And yeah, I was gonna tell you that I made sure to narrate very well why Palace 2 hates you. So yeah, it was a perfect opportunity to show everybody.
Always, yeah. Pete 2 has been my biggest rival in Z2 Randomizer, as far as I can tell. Not Dig Shake, not Trails. It's Palace 2.
Okay, so I have some news for you. The boots were in Palace 3.
Yeah, we see Dr. J grabbed that a second ago. That's a nice item to have, and that's why even after I got the glove hint, you saw me grab a couple of items that I knew weren't going to be the glove, because you just never know when those boots will come in handy. It just so happened that the layout of both continents was just super friendly. This was one of the friendliest overworlds you could ask for. Just all the palaces just laid out for you on a platter. I found everything I needed to in the West without even hitting up all the corners. So yeah, I mean, there were a couple of towns in the East that I never found. That really wasn't going to be a factor, and really wasn't going to be a factor once I got Thunder.
Yeah, thankfully. And yeah, the only thing about this is it was pretty generous on the swamp. For example, the swamp to get to the raft tile was pretty...
Yeah, that sucks. You had to slink a little bit for sure. The path only got you about 1/3 of the way there, and then you're on your own. And I probably had to do that hike about 4 or 5 times. So yeah, that was one of the less fortunate parts of the overworld. But as far or through tricky one-way passages, that wasn't the case this time at all.
Yeah, and that dead end that led to the River Devil was pretty long too.
Was that?
Sounds
Did I
ama-
see that?
I
don't
don't
remember.
think so. I think the one that saw that was DrJayPhd. There on the northern part that you arrive going through a long road, a long yellow road. I think there was another path that led to that, and it was a very long one. And yeah, River Devil was at the end of that very long path.
Yeah, I saw a narrow path that was like above the Valley of Death, but
Yeah,
I used
that
it to
one.
get somewhere. Yeah, I don't know if I was half River Devil blocked or what. I don't remember. I basically up and ate shortly after that. That was the area where you had the desert tile for the glove, and I almost up and ate immediately after getting the glove, but then I said, I better nose around here, and if there's any towns that are laying out in the open, I better go grab them just to, ensure that I won't need thunder. And then when I didn't see any towns, I said, okay, never mind thunder.
Okay, so New Kasuto was out in the open? Or?
Yeah, it was in the area just south of the Valley of Death. It was like between the Valley of Death entrance and the Maze Island entrance. It was right in that area there.
Okay, so I guess you missed it the first time you walked through there.
Made the first time, yeah, but I saw it before I had the hammer. So I after I got the hammer, I did kind of know where to go.
Okay, and where was the hammer? I missed that.
The hammer was in P2. I did it on my
cool.
full tour of P2. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered. But yeah.
Yeah, you weren't looking for the item in P2, but as you already saw the rest of the palace, so why not?
Oh, absolutely. And at that point too, I mean, you can feel like you're in go mode, but I mean, without thunder, you don't know if you're in go mode. So, you don't want to waste time hunting down items, but I'm not going to turn down an item just because I don't want to spend the 15 seconds walking to the end of the room and back. I'll invest that 15 seconds every time.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that GP was kind of short, wasn't it?
Yes, although I took some not unconventional paths, but like when faced with a right or an up, there were a couple of times where I went up. So it could have been longer if you insisted on going right. I went past. Instead of taking the Eon drop, I kept going, and that led to another drop, which led to another drop, and then eventually you find yourself in the Trails room, and Dark Link was just to the right of the Trails room. For all I know, the Eon drop could have led you straight into the Trails room, so maybe I took a long cut for all I know, but that's the path I took.
Yeah, that's a probability.
Yeah, I think there's a 50-50 probability, right? Because I took two of the other drops.
Yeah.
So maybe Dr. J will get lucky on that one. We'll see.
So yeah, now I can see where New Kasuto was. Yeah, right below Palace 2 and Valley of Death. And,
exactly right, yeah.
DrJayPhd is heading there, and hopefully he will get the item and go find out what's in New Kasuto. He has the spell. The spell was in Naburu, I believe.
Yeah, I totally never saw that.
So yeah, that could be hiding something good for him. At least he will probably get the life spell. And that could be helpful in Great Palace. However, the enemies in this Great Palace weren't that bad.
Yeah, he's got plenty of levels and obviously the 8 heart containers, so yeah, I don't think he'll need the life spell. Really, I only cast shield maybe once or twice even. Yes, like from a survivability standpoint, GP was pretty forgiving, and there was no T-Bird fight, so at least for me, the no T-Bird fight required, so he can get lucky in that regard too.
Okay, and how has this tournament been for you? I mean, you won both matches, but how have you felt.
Sure, yeah.
about-
Do you remember who my first opponent was? That guy, who was it now?
Yeah, well, that was kind of a free match, but
It was a legend in the music industry, yeah. And I was lucky enough to take that one. To tell you the truth, I don't remember how many gems that was, but when I saw this was a 6-gem seed, I kind of felt right at home. I do tend to favor those. I've gotten a little bit better at doing seeds that require few gems, but I always like to see plenty of gems. And it's been okay so far. And I don't remember either seed in this tournament for me being really taxing. Well, the flute. I remember in my match with you, the flute was a big problem. The survivability, even though we started, I think, with two lives and 1 heart container, somehow that was an easy seed to survive in, right? As
yeah,
we either had the life spell or you got an extra heart container early. I don't remember, but it was just a matter of hunting down for the flute. It was now that I recall, it was a crappy little seed, but
it was doable. Yeah,
yeah, right. At least it wasn't bad from a survivability standpoint. Sometimes if you get the wrong combination of hearts and lives and a really terrible GP, you can be looking at a 2 or 2.5 hour seed if you're not lucky, based on having to carefully slink through every room of GP and rehearse it room by room. I've been involved with those before, and those are really terrible. I'll take a hunt for the flute any day of the week over something like that.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I believe last night we had a match where both players decided to re-roll.
Really?
But as they were playing, I was kind of thinking like, this isn't that bad. I mean, they started with down step, and you can find hard containers in the way. You probably are not gonna find them, but there could be things that help you survive in the way. And they re-rolled, and the re-roll, I believe it was much worse. It looked way easier on the surface. Like they had 2 hard containers, but they had 2 lives, and in the first one they had 3 lives. So I prefer having 3 lives over having 1.
Oh, definitely
More than 1 hard container, because 3 lives helps you explore longer. And they spent like the first 40 minutes of the seed like not going anywhere, like looping like 2 meters away from North Palace the whole time. And it was horrible, that second seed. So this morning we've got a seed that was kind of rough at the beginning with Flesh 177. We had that race, and it was rough because there was the fairy cave was kind of like the only thing apart from P4 that you could go into, and it was full of enemies, and we were both dying to it, and we were being able to cross it. And he asked me for a reroll, and I told him no. If we re-rolled, it could be worse. This is doable. You just need to play nice and grind a little bit. But yeah, I'd say if you're gonna re-roll, you have to play for quite a bit to test how things are going, and consider how things will go at the end of the seed. Because, for example, Trails with King Doll, he played a seed where he finished like in 1 hour. It was horrible, but Trails managed to do so, but King Doll took 5 hours. So
yeah, that was legendary that he even finished. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you did the right thing. You know, I'm all about winning, and I am not going to grant my opponent a reroll basically no matter what. I couldn't even imagine a scenario where I would entertain allowing that. Even once they ask for a reroll, you know you got them. You know, you got to persevere.
That kind of impossible seed, I believe there are very few of those. The only thing I can think of is one that Third Wolf played by himself, and that he took like 3 hours and a half, and he's a very good player. So yeah, that's kind of the only one I can think of where I could say, well, that's impossible for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there was some kind of like family emergency or like technological breakdown, like loss of internet or something like that, I would totally allow for it. But just because you find the seed hard, you know, sorry, that's what practice is for.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we have new players in this tournament.
Yeah, yes, there are, and Max Rando, it can be pretty unforgiving. There's no question about that. But muscling through the unforgiving seeds is what makes you a good player.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I'd say my advice would be just check it out for a bit more, especially because you can get something way worse if you re-roll. That's my biggest fear.
Oh yeah, that's true. You always, to me, the heart containers are something people look at right away, but to me, it's the number of lives. If you see you only have 2 lives, then you could really be in for a long one. I think I'd rather have whatever. I'd rather have 5 lives, 1 heart container, than a lot of heart containers and only 2 lives.
Yeah. So, DrJayPhd making his way inside. This is Palos 5? Oh no, this is...
He must still be inside Palace 2.
Palace 2, yeah. Palace 2, yeah.
It was a terrible Palace 2. There's no way to avoid full clearing.
Yeah, what was the way? You had to walk left at the start, or...
The second left. The first left was a dead end.
Okay. So yeah, he finds the RoseCitySaint. I already explained what that is about. So yeah, seed validated for both of you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't have a match without it. I hate Palace 2 so much. To me, it is hardly any better than Palace 5. It may be half the size, but it's got 9/10 of the punch.
Yeah, the way it's laid out, it always makes you gamble too much, and you almost always have to walk a long way. Yeah, it kind of, if it has like at least two paths that are very long, and
yeah, exactly,
they are very apart from each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It just seems to be too sometimes you'll just get lucky with really short palaces. This seems to be the palace the least often that just gives you a 1-room-in boss.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Even Palace 6 has that happen more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trails was at the beginning of the match, and when both Dr. J and you entered Palace 6 and Palace 5, he said like, no, I do Palace 6 better than Palace 5. Things turned out to be the other way around.
Yeah, he does that, and that's one reason why he can beat you, is that he's willing to make those unconventional plays. And they seem to work for him, but I gotta tell you, every time I try to employ that strategy, it blows up in my face every time. So I just try to stick to my own game, the path more traveled, if you will, and I take my chances with that.
I'd say Palace 6, as big and as, let's say, loopy as it is, has a very low probability of it being blocked. However, yeah, in this case, and I guess that's why it works so many times for Trails, but in this case, DrJayPhd was extremely unlucky with it. And it came up in the time when both of you knew that the progression item, either the hammer or the raft, was in either of the other palaces. So when DrJayPhd found Palace 6, he decided to go for it before seeing what was the other palace. So yeah, very very unfortunate. I don't blame him.
Oh yeah, yeah. With the two boulder block caves were really close to each other, and I did not want to commit a lot of time to Death Mountain, but fortunately, Hammer Cave was like the third or fourth cave you jumped into, so that at least saved me from having to make a tough decision about that. But even so, it wouldn't have been too tough a decision, because if I'm going to waste time, I'd rather waste time in a palace than waste time in Death Mountain. So I would have pieced out and done the palaces if Hammer Cave didn't jump right out at me.
And yeah, curiously enough, both of you did Hammer Cave. That was one of the first things both of you did. And I guess, o sea, I mean, I thought it was on the first cave besides to the right of the entrance or something like that. But yeah, if you're saying it was a little bit deeper, yeah, that was surprising seeing both of you go for Hammer Cave.
Yeah, it was definitely accessible just right from the first cave you popped into. It wasn't my first cave. I think maybe I went in the wrong direction or something, but it was right there. Do we have? Is Dr. J just sort of looking for more towns? Is he trying to track down the Thunderspell, maybe?
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Because, yeah, he only has to do Palace 6, and yeah, he hasn't found New Kasuto. He already found Old Kasuto and Naburu and Darunia. So yeah, he's looking for that.
Oh, he still hasn't done Palace 6 yet either, huh? I figured he had.
Well, he was there.
It's not. Yeah, it's not on the tracker. Wow. Okay.
He was there, but yeah, he wasn't able to complete it, and that's a dead end for him.
Okay. I'm actually going to have to cut out now. I am feeling under the weather. If my voice sounds a little rough, that might explain it. So,
especially the last minute, it kind of got worse. So yeah, get well soon, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's another reason I really couldn't join the weekly this week. I really felt like hell. So hopefully I come back soon. I don't want to be under the weather for my next tournament match. So yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate the commentary, Victor, and thank you for the restream as well. Whoever's out there.
Thank you, man, for racing and
to Shadow. Yeah.
And yeah. Congratulations, and yeah, get well soon.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll give a premature GG to Dr. J. I know he'll finish up strong, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Good night. So, DrJayPhd finding the other item in the Eastern continent, and it is a P-Bag. Okay, so Dr. J having the hammer, I believe he hasn't found the town of New Kasuto, but yeah, he will go to Palace 6 to place his final gem, and then he will try probably Great Palace without the Thunder Spell, and that's the way to go. However, he has the hammer and he has 2 more item locations to look for. So I don't know what he's looking for at this moment. This is either a hard container, a magic container, the flute, which is what he got. Or the cross.
So since it seems Victor has a bit to go here, since he's got Palace 6 he still has to get through, and then he's got to go to GP, we're going to send everybody off here to the other race that just started. So there's another nice Z2 race going on right now. Any final thoughts, Victor, before I send people off?
No, GG to both players. This it shows you that you can be very unfortunate and that can throw off your game. So yeah, that happens in these races. They look like they weren't close, but yeah, sometimes something at the start just decides to race. So yeah, good night to everybody, and thank you to the Zelda Speedruns team for making this possible. We'll see you in the next race.